Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hello.
How you doing?
Awesome. I'm doing awesome.
You doing really awesome.
I am. Ha. Cheers.
Hey, Devin, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
Devin's doing great. I'm doing great because I had to do breathing.
I made him do some breathing before because he was crazy wild.
Well, she said this to
spinning.
me. Typical. She says,
Typical.
You need to do some breathing. I was like,
He looked at me crazy.
then she says, I need you to. I can relate to that.
I need you to take a few breaths right now. Just bring it down a notch before we go into this podcast room.
And I did.
I know.
I had to laugh a few times.
You thrive on chaos.
It really wasn't chaos.
Oh,
I just been, but I had
chaos.
a busy morning. It's been like boom, boom, boom.
I know.
You know, it's been business.
Busy guy.
I've been doing business. We
Doing
did
wedding
doing
food.
wedding stuff. I met the wedding guys. Yeah, to try to get all the food around.
How excited are you about the food for the wedding?
I'm jacked.
I know.
I'm even more happy than this morning.
Yeah?
So yeah.
Man, you're happier than you were when you called me this morning?
Well, no, but yeah.
This morning he was like,
we got. Jeez.
okay, let's put that down.
I gotta look up. So keep on talking.
Keep on talking. So yesterday, well, we're ordering bread. We're ordering fresh made bread for the wedding. We have our oldest son. For those of you who are new here, our oldest son gets married in 2.5 weeks, and we're in charge of all the food, which is Nick's jam. He loves that. So we ordered fresh bread from a place in Detroit, Michigan.
I'm looking that up. So
He's looking up the name. And then what we found out was that they also make homemade pasta. So now we're getting homemade pasta, fresh bread. It's going to be great.
yeah, it's central. Where's it at? This way. Okay, keep talking.
So we're going to have filet, I think. I think we're having a filet. We're having a pork wrapped in prosciutto. We're going to have chicken piccata. It's going to be so good.
Yes, it's gonna be
It's
awesome.
going to be so good. So just let's talk about the pasta without giving the name
Yeah,
since
I
you
can't
can't
get.
find
I have
it.
to get. I gotta get that. Yeah. I should have had that more planned. I did have planned, but I can't.
So tell us about the
Anyways.
pasta, Nick.
So we're doing a cavatelli.
Okay.
So it's called. It's in. Look up Detroit. It's in Plymouth,
Michigan,
Michigan.
which is right outside of Detroit.
Cen-
And that's an Italian.
Central, like Plymouth Bakery.
Okay.
And it will
It's
come
Italian.
up. Italian bakery. Look that up, and I guarantee it's gonna come up.
He's going to find it quick.
No.
Nope.
Not the boathouse. No. It starts with the C.
It starts with a C.
Yeah. So, anyway, so it was recommended by my partner at the restaurant, Aaron, and there's a guy named who was there, was a big food guy, Jimmy.
Yeah.
And he said, you got to get bread
From there.
from here.
Okay.
And you have to see something. And, but Plymouth, Michigan. And so I was like, so I've been
Cantoro's.
calling. Yeah.
Cantoro's Italian Market in Plymouth. Yes.
And
That's it.
so anyways, I've been calling, trying to get them. I finally talked to somebody yesterday, but I kind of had the bakery. It's like all these different departments, actually pretty big.
Yeah.
They have like a baking department. They have a catering department. They have
Pasta.
the bakery there's a bread
Look at all
bakery.
that.
There's
Look at the cheeses, yes. Oh my gosh.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Look at those olives.
I might
That's
go-
my jam.
I might have to run up there.
I could skip the sweets and just do the olives and the cheese. So good.
So
So good.
I'm talking to he told me about it, so I'm like, okay, let's try to get it organized.
Prepare it. Oh, good for
And
you.
I know. And so I tried a couple days ago, and then I put in like do you have a question, like a message? I'd put my information and send a message.
Yeah.
And then I finally called one day, and it would ring, and it would say, if you went to bakery, press 2, press 2. Ring, ring, ring. Then it would go back to the same thing.
Yeah. They're too busy to talk to you.
I know. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, so then I got nowhere.
Okay.
So it all kind of has to come together because we don't want to order the bread too soon.
Right.
Want it fresh for Saturday, so we got a guy going up to pick it up. So
Right.
we arranged that. I have the guy ready
The
to
bread pickup delivery.
Jim's gonna
picking it up.
pick it up because it's
Okay.
gonna be the day of the wedding.
Yeah. Fresh.
Fresh.
Fresh made bread.
So we have that. Then we have the pasta.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we're gonna be able to pull this off. So I get a call today from a gal, and I can't say her name right. I know, but it's my cousin Frankie.
Yeah.
Well, I find this out. She's like she's like, okay, what are you looking for? And I kind of was telling her, and then she's like, I got like off the subject. Do you know Frank Perna? I'm like, yeah, it's my uncle. He goes, well, I'm married to Frankie.
Yeah. So she's married to your cousin Frank.
My cousin Frank, who was named after my uncle Frank.
Yeah.
And we were just talking about Frank because my dad, he
Yeah.
had a Les Frank fracture, which is a bad fracture of the foot.
Yeah. When he was in high school.
High school.
So Frankie was a great football player.
Great track guy.
Great track.
Yeah,
I forgot.
really great.
That was track is what we were getting ready for.
That's what he was like.
Yeah. That's what we were getting him ready for.
Yeah.
They told him he probably would never run again, but that was not.
They were
that
worried
was
about,
not.
I remember they were in
gonna
the
happen.
hospital and they're like, when can I play again? The guy's like,
Not.
you may not be able to walk again. Like
Yeah.
I'm like that's how bad this fracture is.
Yeah.
And so my dad was a big therapist. He's a big functional movement guy. And I don't know. We were just talking about that a week ago.
I have no idea why it came up, but it came up. We were just talking about Frank and that injury, and we rehabbed him. Your dad and I, we rehabbed him for a while to get him back, and he ran track.
I don't know why I turned it off.
Every week.
Oh,
Devin.
I turned it off. I don't know what's
I need to get some like old timey music going.
Yes,
And
right. There you
when
go.
Nick can't get it
yes,
going.
yes, there we go.
I thought I turned it off. I don't
How
know.
did I turn my phone off?
Technology.
Yeah. we need a good little sound for that.
Hey, you over there in the corner.
He's on my side for that stuff.
Oh, I thought that was gonna be like a boom.
Yeah.
So,
Not quite.
anyways, talking to him, and then but she's like, I'm married to Frankie. That's my, and
Yeah.
she's like, what's going on? I'm like, oh well, this is what we're doing. She's like, oh, I got you.
We're gonna do it.
Yeah, and she's like, let me send you pictures. I know what you want. She had like understood that you want a rustic, like bread table. I'm like,
Yeah.
Yes.
So you were like a kid at Christmas, right?
Oh yeah, I'm just like, she's like sending pictures. She's like, okay, what do you want? And I just got off the phone with her too. And she's like, okay, do you want this? I'm like, yes. Do you want this? Yes. Do you want this? Yes. It's like, I'm gonna send you some with like olive oil infused with olives in it.
Yes.
I'm like, yes. Mm-hmm. Like everything was yes. And then
Sign me up for that.
then we're gonna do cavatelli,
Okay.
which is like a little pasta that you kind of roll with your fingers. My grandma used to make it.
Yeah, that was the I'm gonna move this a little bit. Cavatelli was the sought after thing when I first started coming to your family, and I went to Thanksgiving for the first time, and my family was like traditional Thanksgiving, right? So turkey and stuffing and mashed potatoes, and then I go to the Perna family Thanksgiving. First of all, there's literally no exaggeration, no less than 100 people there, probably 100 and closer to 150 maybe people. Right. There's 8-foot tables of food, and the line is super long. But the first thing on the table was Grandma Vita's cavatel, and
she was handing them out.
She was handing them out because she knew that if the people in the front of the line scooped themselves, then they were gonna there would not be enough for the people at the back of the line.
Be like, Grandma, one more. Grandma, one more.
Yeah. No. And she made them all.
Yeah.
Handmade them all.
Handmade everything.
Yeah.
Meatballs. Yeah. She used to do it all. Yeah. So yeah.
So that's good.
So they're gonna be. Grandma's are real thick. These are, I think, a little thinner, a little lighter.
Okay.
But I'm really happy about it.
And you're making the sauce?
Yes. Me and Lisa are gonna make the sauce, the meatballs.
Good.
We're gonna do a little crostini. The guys are gonna do a crostini with a meatball, a little bit of ricotta, a little basil, and they're gonna actually deep fry the basil to put the basil on top, so it's like a little bit of crunch.
Wow. Jeez. That's like a lot of detail.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
I know.
So yeah, so I spent that. But so then I'm running around. I had a call for a guy looking to get in the business, make some extra income. So I did that, and then I'm running here. I got Jim messaged me. Hey,
and that's when I said, I need you to take a couple breaths before we have a conversation today online, because you're going to be crazy.
And we're getting ready to go to...
We're going to Atlantis next week.
Next week, which is a great timing.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, why not?
Well, I know. I mean, we could have worse problems.
Yeah, I shouldn't complain.
It's kind of ridiculous, but we're going to Atlantis, earned vacation. So we're going...
We got to figure out when we're doing...
We'll be flying on Thursday, so we'll probably have to do it maybe Wednesday next week if you can, Tuesday. We'll figure it out.
I'll figure it out.
So next week will not be Thursday. We'll be in the
I might have to zoom in, but we'll see.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
I may have to be at Clyde, but I can get an hour off. But yeah. So yeah, then I know, because then have that. And then the week after is going to be prepping, because I'm going to help prep we're doing. We got prosciutto. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great.
It's gonna be a lot.
It's gonna
of
be
stuff.
great.
It's gonna be a lot of Italian.
A lot of
It
Italian
became
food.
really Italian themed.
I know.
wasn't-
More and more and more and
wasn't meant to
more.
be.
But it's gonna be.
But I
It'll
think
be
that's-
great.
That's us.
And we have the Youngstown cookie table. So we
Yes.
have the Italian cookie table. We have the Italian
That's the
food.
thing though, because how do you have an Italian cookie table and go away from it?
Well, you can do anything you want as long as the cookies are there. It doesn't matter.
No, you can't. That's my excuse.
Yeah, right. No, you're good. You're good. The food's gonna be great. I'm excited.
Our wedding was real Italian.
Our wedding was very Italian. Yeah, it was great. It was Leo's in Warren, Ohio.
Yeah, we had a lot of. That was like a lot more of the Youngstown
And
Italian.
yeah.
Like
But
we had a
we had
lot
the-
of Dad's family there.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it was very.
Well, it's funny because people will still say, your wedding was the best wedding I've ever been to. It's been 25 years.
Got Uncle Angelo's coming. Uncle, is he coming down?
No.
My first guy I met when we first were dating. First time I went to, they owned a bar. The family did. Shayna's parents, her dad and her uncle, called Bailey's.
Bailey's.
And it was packed. And we go in there, and she's like, "Well, you got to meet my Uncle Ange. Just, there's rumors. Just be careful."
Heck.
I'm like, so I go in there, and he's like, "Who are you?" And he gives her a hug, and he's like, it's a crazy line. Takes you back in the office, and he's awesome.
He's
I
great.
love him. He's like, "Yeah, date my niece." I said, "Yeah, well, you better take care of her. It's good." Did I ever tell you about the creek back there? And I found some people back there that just
Did he say that to you?
Oh yeah. He was like almost like he didn't
Like a
he didn't do the
joke.
threat, but it was like I found a couple people back there. You never know in Youngstown. You're in Youngstown. You know about Youngstown, don't you? I'm like, yeah, I know about Youngstown. He goes, good. Take care of her.
Good.
I said, yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
And
Good.
we've been friends ever since. So.
I know. That's awesome. I don't
But-
know if I've ever heard that story.
No, can't go against family. So, all right. Anything else what else we got going on? Nothing else?
What else we got going on?
Before we
No,
get in?
we're all things wedding right now, pretty much.
It is. It's going to be awesome.
It's exciting.
It'll be fun. Devin, what about you? Do you have a good week?
Yeah, good week. I'm really excited. Internet is finally available where I live, like fiber internet.
Yeah.
Dude, I've been
Living in the
prehistoric.
dark
Oh,
ages,
my
huh?
goodness.
Omnifiber? Or which one?
No, it's Frontier.
No.
We honestly, whatever would have showed up,
It was gonna wait. What
it
you
was gonna
use.
be what we got.
Yeah.
We would have
So what were you using before?
satellite internet.
Satellite internet,
It's
which is
so
just
bad.
yeah.
And like I live on the internet. Like most
Right.
of the things I do is online.
Yeah.
And
So that's a lot of frustration.
oh, dude, I'm so excited.
That's awesome. Is it up and running now or just
No,
coming?
Well, so I guess knock on wood,
Yeah.
but they're coming Saturday.
Okay.
So they said it's available.
You don't got it yet.
Great.
No.
Yeah.
But just the thought
Hopefully,
of having it
the
is
thought
like
of it's close.
Dude.
It's close.
best day of
That's
my life.
exciting.
All right. Let's
That's
get into
good.
it.
All right.
It was a good one.
This is a good one. Well, this is something that you just
Recently talked about.
recently talked about. Well, it's kind of like circled back in our lives. We've done lots of personal development books over the last, I don't know.
It's a great
30
little one.
years.
It's a very little easy.
This is we're talking about a book called The Four Agreements,
Yes.
and it's
I'll put a picture up.
okay,
you can see
good.
it.
Don Miguel Ruiz. Yeah, that's the one we had until 2
I
days
gave it
ago.
away.
Nick gave it away, which is great. It's a good book to give
I
away.
loaned it. I said I want it back so I can give it out to somebody else.
Yeah, it's good.
So.
It's an awesome book. It's also on Audible. I've listened to it. I've read it. I would say if you're new to personal development or you're new to reading, get through the first couple chapters because you might be like, what is this about? But it is worth it. It's a short little read and it's really, really great. So Don Miguel Ruiz, it's a guide to personal freedom, which is like, okay, that sounds interesting. What does that mean? 4 simple principles that are like practical things you can do every day
You could live. Yeah.
that you like philosophies and ways to live, I think. Yeah.
That's good.
I love it.
So first one,
First one, be impeccable with your word.
powers of your words.
The power of your words. Yeah. This is a good one.
It's very good. It's a hard one.
Yeah. So
It's a hard one all the time.
that's a hard one all the time. I think all of these are, it's like a continuous journey. You're never going to get to like a check mark. Oh yeah, I'm great with my word. You know what I mean?
No,
Like,
yeah,
it's-
because I mean, because you can take it to all levels.
Yeah.
Of like
So first thing is like they talk about integrity of your word. So doing what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
So if you say you're going to do something, follow through on it. So just keep your word, I'm a man of my word kind of philosophy, which is,
A lot of times people take that as the big things.
I think it's the little things matter more.
I do too. Well,
Yeah.
we agree.
We agree.
Wow.
Can
Ding,
you
ding,
put
ding, 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 ding.
can you put a so like a check? We need like a star in this one.
Yeah, I know. Right.
Within the first like 15 minutes, we actually had an
Agreement. Nice.
We didn't agree on our T's.
No, we don't agree on much
Like,
of
oh, this
anything.
is so good. I'm like, it is not that good.
I love it. It's so
You
good.
guys, your grape, you
This
liking
is my
it?
new
It's
one.
really good.
Grape's good. It's like honestly a melted
Great
took
popsicle.
took a great popsicle, put it in here, and it's like
Melted.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And it's still got some ice in it, so it's still
Good. Anyway,
So-
so talk about the big things versus the little
the
things.
big things. I
about,
think sometimes it's like like a big major thing that I'm gonna
like a business agreement or a
Yeah.
business deal or something big.
something big. Yeah, I'm gonna whatever it is. Like it bigger. Like seems I don't want to say easier, but a lot of times people keep those. It's a small one. Like I'm gonna message you or I'm gonna get you this.
I'm gonna go to the gym tomorrow.
I'm gonna go. Well, that's yourself though.
I think it matters both.
100%.
I think this is both. Do you think it's not both?
No, I do. But I think the first thing most people don't think that way. So most people they're thinking of like it matters less. I think it matters more to keep your word to yourself because if you keep your word, that's the first.
Right. I agree with
You
that.
start with you,
Yeah.
it can go to other things.
Yeah.
Most times.
But if you are keeping your word to so I think this is maybe out of balance, like keeping your word to other people
And not yourself.
and not to yourself.
Which can happen.
That happens a lot. I think it's maybe like a people pleasing kind of tendency where like
Yeah.
I'm gonna do more for other people than I do for myself, or I'm gonna quit on the commitments I made to myself so that I can do for others. I think that's out of balance. There's boundaries. That's a whole nother discussion. But just doing what you say you're gonna do, and then not overcommitting because that's sometimes an issue too. Like there's not enough time in the day or the morning or the afternoon or the evening for you to get done the 17 things you committed to, but you say yes to all of them anyway. You can't keep your word. You have to set yourself up powerfully too. You have to plan so you can keep your word with what you commit to. That's that whole thing.
Talk.
It's a huge thing.
Talk in itself. Yeah.
Gosh.
It's a massive thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like the little things, I think, like you said to yourself, like getting up in the morning.
Yeah.
That you commit. Mm-hmm. Doing that, which is hard.
It is.
It's easy to put the snooze.
Justify it.
It's easy to cuddle
Often.
next to the dog.
That's right.
That's what she does.
The dog is so funny. Our doodle dog is hysterical. She sleeps at the end of our bed, but he gets up between 5 and 5:30 every morning. So he's out of bed. She sleeps on his pillow until literally 6 a.m. At 6 a.m., she knows it's 6 a.m., and she gets up and she puts her head right on my chest
And lazy.
and lays there. And she'll like move a little bit, or she'll like get up closer to me, or she'll stand up and then plop back down as to be like, hey, do you know what time it is? Like, it's time to get up. What are you doing over there? Yeah, every day.
That's funny. I was just looking at no chats. Okay, I didn't have anybody's chatting there.
Oh.
Minus less. Yeah. Chat is no messages.
So there's more about being impeccable with your word. A couple other things I want to talk about.
Okay.
Avoiding gossip.
Okay.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
Sometimes easier, sometimes not so easy,
Yeah.
but avoiding gossip. And then also avoiding speaking bad about yourself, which is hard for me.
Very hard for you.
Very
most
hard
people.
for me.
Most people.
Yeah.
I don't have trouble with.
We were in no, you don't. That's one thing you've never been that person.
No, I don't have big expectations for myself. Yeah.
Is that the thing? Lower expectations so you feel good every day? Like, I don't know.
say lower. I mean, I have high expectations, but I don't I don't set myself up that I'm gonna be. I know I ain't perfect.
Yeah.
I know I'm gonna screw up. I know
And
I'm gonna fail at something. I'm gonna not keep my word. I'm not gonna supposed to message somebody I didn't do it. But I'm not gonna beat myself up and say I'm a bad person because I did. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
Get better.
Okay. That's good.
Because I think it's unhealthy.
I know.
Well, when I was a kid, I got made fun of. I had a lot of that. So it's like, why am I going to beat myself up? My father said, be your fan. Be your biggest fan.
Yeah.
Don't be. There's enough people going to put you down.
Right. Don't be that person too.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about being arrogant. It's just about I'm just not going to put myself down. It's like, I mean, there's things like I do a good job. I hardly ever say like that's stupid.
I know.
Like I don't say like I do. Yeah, don't call me stupid.
That word is like that's a trigger. No, we don't say the S word at our house ever.
I don't get triggered. I get angry.
You get angry. Well, yeah. We don't say the S word.
No, the S word's bad.
The S word is really bad.
Well, if it's put towards me.
Well, up towards anybody.
No, towards anybody. I don't like it. Yeah. Well,
yeah.
If I especially don't like somebody say your idea is stupid or
yeah.
Ooh.
I know.
She said it once, I think.
I don't remember, but I must have because I know that that's not the word to use. But even with our kids, we taught them like don't ever say that because it is. I think self-talk. People do silly things every day, and they'll say out loud, "Oh, that was stupid."
Or, I'm stupid.
Or that was
That's the worst.
Yeah.
It's like
that is worse.
I'm so dumb.
Yep.
It's like you put meaning in that. Like,
yeah, it's not true.
No.
Yeah.
No, you just messed up on something.
Yeah.
Quit judging it. Mm-hmm. You taught me that.
I know, but I do struggle with that.
You taught me that a long time ago when you were doing the Course in Miracles in Astoria. Mm-hmm. You started talking about judgment, not judging yourself.
Judging.
And I've taken that on.
I know. More than I have, darn it.
I know.
I taught you, and then you took it on more than me.
I know. It's like, don't judge. It is what
it is. What it is. I do believe that. I do believe that in my core, but I still struggle with that.
It's not a good or bad.
Yeah. It just is.
We put the good or bad on it.
Yes. I wholeheartly believe that.
Yeah.
Like,
spill this over right now.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's spilled tea.
I'd be a little bummed because my
Yeah.
popsicle's gone.
Yeah.
Let's go get another one.
Yeah.
It's a great part.
That's good.
So I think.
But I was working with a small group of people last night, entrepreneurs that want to get better, and there was several of them were like, I'm the hardest on myself because we were doing like a self rating, and some people rated themselves way lower than once they explained their rating, it didn't match like the number they gave themselves. So somebody said like, I give myself a 5 because. But here's what I'm doing. And there's like, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm doing, here's what I'm doing. It's like check, 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 check. And I think that's like a 5 out of 10. And I was like, wait a minute, hold up, because where's the gap? Like where's the missing 5? Because everything you just said doesn't match up. You know? Does that make sense? So somebody like she rated herself a 5 out of 10, but when we asked her to explain it, there was no reason for a 5. It was more like she was pretty much keeping her word pretty much perfectly to what she said she would do, which is what the rating was. Would you say what you're going to do? Have you been doing it? And she was like, yep. Okay, so what's your rating? 5 out of 10. And I was like, I don't understand. Why are you saying that? You know?
Right.
She said, I don't know. I just feel like I could definitely be way better. And I'm the hardest on myself. And that was kind of a little theme.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Interesting. But yeah, I think, I mean, this is an easy one and a hard one, right? What's easy to do is easy
not to do. Jim Rohn.
Yeah. And it's,
easy to do, easy not to do.
It's the little things. I think it's like people, because you think, it's not that big of a deal. I didn't get up.
Yeah.
Then that kind of builds. Then you lose that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then,
I think you lose. Well, I'm going to say it the other way. If you keep your word to the little things, then you build self-confidence. I think that's the key to building self-confidence.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. This one, I don't know. Don't take anything personal.
So this is, okay, so we're moving on to the second agreement. The second agreement. This is definitely challenges your own personal philosophy.
Don't take anything personal.
Don't take anything personally.
So I guess, so explain to me what that means.
It just means that you are not responsible for what others say or do. Like what they say to you is a projection of what they feel, not.
Okay.
It doesn't, like if someone, like when you were younger, when you were getting bullied and people were making fun of the way you spoke, you know, back when you were a child. Yeah. And people were making fun of you. And I've learned that,
I guess.
Like,
okay. So
don't take that personally.
I look at it because I think everything we do is personal.
Explain what you mean by that.
Because I think we're in personal. There is no separation of we're in the people. No matter what you're doing, you're dealing with people.
Right.
So
I agree with that.
So business, right?
Yeah.
People say it's only business, not personal. Okay, so that would go along with this.
I think that justifies meanness.
Well, so that's my point. Is me? I think everything we do is we're in a personal, we're not in a personal, but we're in a personal life. I mean, when you're
Right.
family members, it's personal.
Yeah.
When you go to the store, it's personal. Now,
Yeah.
doesn't mean, I guess the way you explain it's different. So it doesn't mean to me like I care what somebody says about me.
Right. That's what this means.
Yeah. So I get that.
Don't take it personally. What people say about you, to you,
It's a reflection of what they
if
feel about
someone's
themselves.
speaking behind your back, like
Yeah.
it's
It is
none
what it
of,
is. Yeah.
Wayne Dyer would always say, what other people think of me is none of my business.
Yeah.
It's like, just
I
don't
agree
take
with
it
that.
personally.
So I get that.
It has nothing to do with you.
I'll take that because I think it's, but I guess what I'm saying is when I deal business wise, I'm dealing with the people, the person.
Yes.
I don't feel like, well, it's just a business agreement.
Yeah.
Does it really matter? No, it does matter because we're personal.
You have an agreement with another person.
Yes.
With another human that you want to have a
No matter what I do.
good relationship with. Yeah. Yeah.
And
I think that it's just business is a way to separate, to try and like
oh yeah.
make it like get an advantage over someone, which is kind of silly. Because
Well, it makes you allowed to be I don't want to say a bad person, but allows you to
do things that aren't
that you
like a
wouldn't do it.
win-win.
Yeah.
What we had Todd on last week. His whole business philosophy
Is win-win.
Is win-win.
Right.
How do I make
Yeah,
a win-win?
yeah.
How do I make a win-win? How do I make a win-win?
Yeah.
And
So okay, I get that. Yeah, because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm good at that. Like I don't.
don't take it personally.
No, I think if somebody says something, it's the same thing. It's just it's how they feel about themselves.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Bully is just someone who doesn't love themselves and they're
just-
feeling insecure about themselves. They lash out on somebody else and they actually are talking about them.
Right.
Because they don't want to. They can't have that dialogue. See, I can have that dialogue. We go round and round up here.
I believe it.
We have a lot of.
Inside that head over there?
We have a lot of talk. There's
I
like
believe it.
the two people. You know,
Yeah.
they fight sometimes.
Uh-huh.
That's why. Yeah. So I had that.
So don't take it personally. You feel like you're better at that now after talking about it?
Yes, I feel good, but I guess the way you explain it, I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like, so I feel everything is personal.
Yeah.
But you're just not. I'm not giving energy to somebody that says like
Something negative about you.
Yeah, I'm
or
not-
to you or about anything. Which is it is a challenge because you're I mean, I think people have automatic responses.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's anger, sometimes it's defense, sometimes it's sadness, sometimes it's hurt, sometimes it's heartbreak, sometimes like all these big hard emotions that you're allowing because you're allowing somebody else's opinion to seep into your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it.
Good.
Anything else on that? You got notes on there?
No, I think that's good.
Okay. Ooh. Don't
This-
assume because you make a.
Yeah. This is good.
Come on, you know that one, don't you?
That's
We're
true.
not
It's so true.
We allowed to say that
This
one?
is kind of long, all of these things are long-standing wisdom.
So I just realized.
So
that
don't
that
make
spells-
assumptions.
That spells assume.
You just learned that?
And now I'm just looking at it.
That's crazy.
I see it. I was like,
You see it now?
yeah, I got you.
Okay, good.
I got it.
Yeah. Why did you think it was funny before? You knew how.
Just because it was a bad word. like,
Right.
Yeah, I got to say a bad word.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's how it's spelled.
That's good.
Don't assume.
Who
Don't
came up with that?
assume.
Yeah, ASS.
You and me.
And me.
Yeah.
And me. See?
Yeah, you learned something today.
I wish I had known that. I could have helped me spell it.
Yeah. It
We
did.
we've been learning about possessive and
Oh yeah, we've been doing.
Yeah. I've been learning. I'm
doing
not a good
grammar
English guy.
lessons
Yeah,
at home.
I'm not a very good grammar guy.
Yeah. Feel that.
So don't assume.
This is big.
Don't make assumptions.
Yeah. This is big.
Where do you think people do this, or where have you seen it lately? Where do you do it? When do you make assumptions?
I think. I think now it's like I think it's very popular now, but I think they don't say assumptions, but it's more like the stories. I feel like a story in your head is what you think somebody's gonna react.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you already have this plan, like,
Yeah.
hey, if I say this, they're gonna do this. You already have it planned out, and it's like, you ever watched? I go to a movie. Oh gosh, I just missed it too.
Movie reference.
Vince Vaughn, Swingers. So Swingers.
Is that the
you ever see
Vegas
Swingers?
Baby?
The Vegas Baby.
Vegas Baby.
So do Vegas
Okay.
Baby. He meets a girl. He gets her number.
Okay.
He calls her, and he literally calls her like 20 times, and like one time it's like, hey, it's just me. I just called you. I didn't mean to leave that message. Click. And then like, so he has this whole story in his head of like, oh, I shouldn't have said that. Okay, he calls her back, and he calls like 20 times.
Yeah.
So basically, hey, I just don't think this is gonna work out. It's been great. And like the end, and she's like literally finally answered. So basically went through the beginning, dated her, and then had the story in his head all the way that she was going to break up with him anyways. So he just broke up with her all in one night. It's like literally 20 calls.
Yeah.
And at the end, he calls her. She goes, "Don't ever call me again." Hangs up. So
Yeah.
it's like he had the story in his head.
Yeah, that he made
That
up.
he had this whole.
Then he turned himself into a crazy person.
Yes.
Yeah.
In a matter of 30 minutes, it's the best scene ever. But
Yeah.
it's like that's the thing that's the assumptions. He assumed that she was going to just not interested in him and that she was going to break up with him anyways and break his heart. So he just figured he would end it that night.
Well, I don't think I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And so it was like,
don't assume.
don't assume.
Well, I think that's okay. So that's back to uncomfortable situations where you assume, or sometimes hard conversations, or you think they're going to be hard. So you make up the story. Like, if I say this, they're going to be mad. They're going to be angry. They're not going to like me. So I'm not going to say anything, or I'm afraid to say, what should I say? And then you have all this anxiety before you
Could be
even get
nothing.
one word out of your mouth. Yeah. And it might not even be anything.
No. Critical
Yeah.
conversation.
Critical conversation. Yeah.
And when Jen has that,
Crucial
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a whole little thing, like how
what do
to
you
write
want the
out what-
outcome
yeah.
to be? Yeah, that's a tool that's been
what do you think? What's
Yeah.
the worst can happen? What,
right.
so you kind of get it
out.
out in your head.
What's the outcome you
Yeah.
want? What could you say? What do you want to say?
Well, I think that's like I read some about it. People that are like not social.
Yeah.
So like I'll do it where like I'll plan a whole conversation in my head before I get there, which isn't good for me because then I
Right.
get there and I'm like, it doesn't go that way, and then I freak out and I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So like I'm like
Right,
making
you make an
assumptions
assumption.
on like what's gonna happen, and then it happens not that way, and I'm like,
And then you're like, okay, now what do I do?
yeah, I thought I like have the head, like the voices in my
Yeah.
head. I'm like, no, this is like they're feeling this way, so I need to act this way.
Yes.
And like it
Yeah.
just hurts me in the end.
Right.
So how do you avoid that?
How do you avoid what?
The assumption.
The assumption? I think
You burnt your arm, didn't you?
I did. I burned my arm making cookies. I did.
See?
Wow.
I pulled a
Thoughtful
hot
guy.
cookie.
What's that?
Thoughtful guy. You
I
notice
know.
the little things.
He hates when I burn myself or cut myself in the kitchen.
I know those hurt too. It's like
Yeah, it was it's so quick, but
I
it
know.
still leaves a mark. I know. That was a little cookie sheet burn.
pretty amazing. I know that, don't
I
I?
know. Well, you've been in the kitchen enough to know what it looks like.
I've had them. Anyway, sorry.
Okay, back to assumptions. Squirrel.
I didn't assume you burnt yourself. I knew you burnt yourself.
That's true. You weren't even there and you knew it.
No. Anyways, yeah. So okay, getting back to
So how do you not assume?
Yeah. Well, I think you always assume. It's what you do. How do you act on the assumptions?
Yeah.
I think you're always going to be like. I mean, you have to. It's like anything. It's like, okay, how do I think this is going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't care, but what does it do to you? Is that the only play? So you don't have the conversation because you assumed that it was gonna,
Right. Don't avoid it. I would say first thing, don't avoid it. You
it's
definitely
like,
have
yeah.
to have conversations that you think might be hard, even if you.
It's like asking the business,
Yeah.
for the job, asking the
Yeah.
girl out, asking the guy out,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Like, well, they're not gonna say no. Well, you don't know.
Or the other thing is like, back to sort of the gossip kind of stuff. Like people hear things. Well, like I heard that she said something mean, or she said something that was negative, and now I have to like address her or him or whoever. And it's like, okay, I'm scared because I'm assuming that the rumor I heard is true.
True, right.
Like I'm assuming the rumor I heard is true. And so that's assumptions because it honestly so many times we deal with this kind of stuff all the time. Hi, Tim Smith's on.
What's up, Jimmy?
It's like, don't assume that everything you hear is the truth. If you don't hear it from
the person,
person.
Or see it yourself. I think
or
it's
you
the same.
see it
It's
yourself,
somewhere in the middle.
don't ever assume.
We hear from both sides. It's always like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. It's like it's crazy.
It's almost the exact opposite.
Opposite.
So
It's like you
like
talk
that,
to one
literally
person-
like he said, she said. He'll say this happened, and she'll say the
That
exact opposite happened.
Like,
and they were the only two in the room at the time. So it's like, okay.
How can it be that opposite?
But it's their perception. That's like back to their perception. It's how they perceive it, how they take the conversation, what assumptions did they show up to that conversation with? What assumptions did they show up to so if you show up
It's also your
assuming,
focus. It's your focus, yeah.
if you show up assuming things
It's
are going to
assuming
happen,
that will
then you
lead-
look for that.
Do you think that leads to your focus?
Absolutely.
Because have you ever seen the one with the monkey?
Is this a movie or what is this?
No.
The one with the monkey.
Have you ever, okay, there's this thing, okay? Because I think it goes back to this, what you're focused on, right?
Yeah.
So if you have an assumption, your focus goes there. So
Yeah.
So you just said that, like it'd be in the same room. How can somebody in the same room see things totally opposite? So there's
they're
a
looking for
thing.
something.
It says count how many times they passed the ball.
Oh, yeah. I've seen
And
that.
so you're watching them pass the ball. You're watching them pass the ball. You're watching them pass the ball. You ever seen this one?
Yeah.
You're watching them pass the ball. See, I can't. If you would, you're gonna probably know it now. But you watch them. You're focused. The next thing you know, say, okay, what about the monkey? And you're like, what monkey?
Yeah.
And you literally, you watch it back. I did this and I didn't know what it was, and I was like, a while ago.
Yeah.
And you watch it go back, and I'm like, what about the monkey? And you're like,
What
the hell about
monkey?
it? And you rewind it, and the monkey walks through the
It's like a
people. just-
person in an
I
ape
have
suit
seen
that
it,
walks
yeah.
through.
and he
these
goes like
people
this, and
passing
he
the
goes
ball.
like, it's not even, his is like casually walk through. He walks through,
Yeah.
stops, and goes,
Yeah.
and then turns and walks off, and I didn't even see him.
Right, because your focus is on the passing of the ball. As you're counting
Yes.
your focus is somewhere else. Yes.
And so it's
Yeah.
like, so same thing. So if you're in a room and you have an assumption, that's
Right.
your focus.
Right.
You're focusing on whatever
Right.
piece that they say
Yeah.
into your story to make your story true,
Yep. Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. I think that, well, there's probably 1,000 examples, but I think when anybody's trying to do something new or they go into a new environment or a new group or a new place and they're scared, like the assumption could be for some people, like, actually, we just had this conversation about a teenage girl. She's starting in a new school and she's starting to play sports. And she's like, all these girls have been friends forever. No one's going to like me. No one's going to talk to me.
So no one is.
Well, that was the original outcome. And then she just had an experience, like the first few weeks was like, nobody's talking to me, nobody likes me. So she was getting what she assumed would happen. And then all of a sudden she ended up in a new room of different girls. And she walked down, she was like, actually, they're kind of really nice. We got along really well. So it was just you have to give up that assumption sometimes because you'll get what you're looking for almost always.
Right.
You'll almost get what you're looking for.
Every time.
So if you walk in and you're like, I'm new here, I'd like to make new friends.
I'm gonna make new friends.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Goob, Little Wonders.
Another movie. This is my favorite movie of all
It's a favorite
time,
movie,
though.
but it's a prime example where Goop thought nobody liked him.
Yes.
And
it is.
they show.
Have you ever seen the movie, the Disney movie called Little
Yeah.
Wonders? Oh, yeah.
Great movie.
That's my
Goob,
favorite
right?
movie.
Goober. So he thought nobody looked, but then they flash back to what all the people say. Hey, Goob, you want to go play? No. Hey,
Yeah.
Goob, do you want to do this? No. It's all these kids are trying to be friends with him.
And he's saying no.
And he kept on saying no, but then he grew up thinking nobody
Nobody
liked him.
liked him. Yeah. Mhm. And then he turned into the bad guy.
You don't like my things, but things.
I know, but I have trouble following sometimes. I have to
That's how my brain
rearrange my brain to follow where you're going.
watch a lot of.
You watch a lot of movies, I know. Okay. So assumptions. So what happens if you act on assumptions?
You make a. That one. Is that what you're asking me to say? I was sorry, I was going to get to say
funny. You can say it if you want, but that's not. I was going to say so. What would you do if you
it. Well, that's what.
That was good. That was good. That was really good.
I'm sorry, I was.
cracked
Leaned
me
in
up.
and everything. You were ready.
I was like, I get
got
to
the
say
big
it.
eyes. He was like, "Do I get to say this?" Oh my gosh!
Like
you
a
cracked
kid,
me up.
remember singing? Like, remember "Rich Girl"?
Oh yeah.
You get to say "bitch."
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was. I'm just singing.
You're
Right.
so funny.
You can't say that word, but you can sing it.
Oh my
Right,
gosh.
anyways. Okay, so what are you trying
Anyway, so what if you did, what if you did assume something and you got into like a crazy situation because you made assumptions?
to say? How do you get out of
How
it?
do you get out of it? How do you get out of it? That's the question. How do you get out of it? If you're the one because we all do it.
Well, I think
If you act on it, so we talked about preventing the acting on it, but what if you do act on it and then you're like, all right, I just created a mess.
admit you're wrong.
Admit you're wrong.
I mean, the easiest thing is that,
Yeah.
I screwed that one up.
Yeah, there.
I was wrong about it. Like her. Hey, these girls are nice.
Yeah.
That was a story in my head. Like,
Yeah.
great. Okay, move. I mean, the same thing. Like, I think that's the other thing.
I just say, I'm sorry for what I said. I assumed
Yeah.
that blah, 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 blah.
And people
Right.
have,
That's good.
they're almost afraid to like admit they're wrong, and they're afraid to like, almost like a pride thing. Like, even though they assumed it, they found it ain't right, but it's like, how do I admit that I'm wrong?
Yeah.
So they stick it out.
Yeah.
They stick the dang story out.
I think I don't know. I never
crazy.
do that. I'm always.
No, I don't do that, but there are people who do that. They like, because it's like,
I'm usually the first one to say, "Oh,
Yeah,
I was
screwed that
wrong
up,
about
yeah,
that," or I don't know what happened, but that was not good.
right. I mean, sometimes you just get caught up in it. And
Yeah.
a true friend is going to be okay, or a person is going to be okay. And the ones that, same thing, are going to go somewhere else. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
Get one more person you don't have to deal with.
The old grumpy man's coming out.
She calls me a grumpy man.
I know.
She assumes that I'm grumpy.
Admit you're
messed
wrong.
up.
Tim says, admit you're wrong and fix your mistakes for the future. Become a better person. Yeah, right. Simple.
Very simple.
It's simple. Simple to do. Same thing. Easy to do, easy not to do. Because you can avoid it and not say anything. You can make it worse. You can feel ashamed about admitting you were wrong. But literally, just show back up and say, yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
How do we move forward? Yeah.
The
Yeah.
quicker you do
It's-
that,
The quicker you do that, the quicker all that negative energy just whoosh, goes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
Good.
Okay.
This is a practical guide to personal freedom. That's what the little tagline is to this book, and I love it. It's so true.
It's good.
Practical guide. Okay, fourth agreement. We're on number 4 already.
I know.
This one is the one. This one is the reason you gave the book away this week, right?
I did.
Yeah.
Yes. I was talking to, I was talking
So it's always do your best. Fourth agreement, always do your best. So talk about that and maybe a little bit about.
I was talking to Mary. She's a member here at the gym.
Yeah.
And we just had a conversation. Started talking. She's like, getting older, and she's like, I can't do as much, and what I mean. So it's hard. Like, I'm not lifting as much, or that even like her focus has changed. And I'm like, that's good. That's okay. And
Yeah.
she, talk about her future husband. I don't think they're married yet. They're going to be married. But like how he's like, was a heavier lifter, then is not lifted as much. So he just doesn't lift because he can't do what he used to do.
Yeah.
And so we started talking about, I'm like, the biggest thing is like just doing your best every day.
Right.
And so your best
It's
at
going
the
to
moment,
change. Yeah.
even from day to day.
Right.
And I think that's sometimes, even like for me, it's like comparing you yesterday, even a younger, like an
That's
athlete.
the worst. Like comparing to your younger self.
Yeah, well,
is
but I'm saying like even
definitely
like
hard.
like younger, like you, Devin, like people can still even that compare yourself, because you can say
Yeah.
like, wow, I don't feel like, no, your life,
Right.
you don't feel good, you don't do blah, blah, blah. You may not
Right.
be able to do the best you can than yesterday, but it's what can you do the best right now?
Right now.
How are you at the moment?
Right.
And it doesn't mean like going hard, because
It doesn't mean
Dad was.
physical stuff.
Yeah, it doesn't mean just like, because Dad used to go, he never rested. He would go as hard
Yeah.
as he could,
No matter
as long
what.
as he could, no matter what. So I'm not saying that, but it's more of like doing the best, be the best version of you in that moment,
Right.
not compared to that moment,
Compared to that moment. What's your capacity right now?
Yes.
Right.
because there's a lot. I mean,
Right. Well, it's funny because I never ever was a runner at all, much of a runner at all until I met you. And then we early on, before we were married, we trained and ran a marathon. And running is something that, like, training for that marathon, I feel like was my best example of this, because I could go out. Well, in the beginning, it was super hard. Getting started in running is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
It is.
It's so
Sucks.
defeating. I mean, like a half a mile and I can't even breathe. I'm like, there is no way 26 miles is in my future at all. But then, you build up, and it takes time and it takes patience and all of that. But then in the middle, when I was comfortable running 8, 10, 12 miles and I could do it, there would be a day I would, maybe on Friday would go for, 7, 8 miles and I'd feel great. And then Saturday or Sunday, a day or two later, would have a 4 or 5 mile running literally half the distance and I could barely make it. And I'm like, this just doesn't even make sense to me. Like, how is it so much harder? And you would always just say, like, it is what it is. Like, some days are better than others. You just have to kind of go with what it is. And that was this lesson for me inside of running. But it was really hard to take in the beginning because it wasn't logical to me. It wasn't logical that 4 days ago I ran 10 miles and now I'm at 3 and I feel like I'm going to die.
Right.
Like I can't figure
There's a
that
lot.
out.
Yeah. Sometimes you go out for a 20-mile run and the cops have to take you home, remember?
We did that. We actually asked the cops, like didn't get picked up by the cops. We literally asked the cop to put us in the car and take us home because we couldn't take another step. And we weren't even near 20
I
miles.
learned so much from running, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of lessons is that. I mean, because one day you may not feel good. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just your body, it's off, you know what I mean? And you push through and you can do it. And also, resource allocation is a big one. You know what I mean? Like kind of in running, then it's a whole different story, not quite, but it is kind of the same thing of doing your best is, you know, when you set something out, like I did a 12-mile,
Yeah.
you're tired at 12 miles.
If you sit when your goal is 12 miles,
And
at
then
11 you're like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm almost done. I'm getting tired.
If you set your goal at 4 miles, at about 3, you're tired, you're ready to go. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I mean, now some of the elites and all that kind of stuff. I mean, the running that we do, no. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like,
This is very recreational.
David Hayes taught me that. It's
running.
like, yeah, it's like resource allocation. Knowing that, like, same thing. Like, if you want to do something, you're going to, I mean, same thing at work, your day to day, you know, like, hey, here's my day. Okay, my kid's going to be at a game. I'm going to be there for 2 hours and it goes to 3. You're freaking tired.
Yeah.
Because you planned on 2.
Yeah, that's true.
You gave enough resource, or I have to do this, this, and this, and then you add something in. It's like, how do I do that?
Yeah. Christine said, you guys just had this conversation. Yeah, it is a hard pill to swallow. It's like what it is. Yeah. For me, it was hard to because it wasn't logical in my brain. But that is this lesson. Always do your best, and your best can change all the time.
Yes.
And without reason sometimes, like without reason we can understand, and that's frustrating. But it is, you just have to like accept that is what it is and then do your best.
Quit analyzing it. It is what it is.
I know.
Shut the music off. Just
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Well, that's the thing, like, don't be so hard on myself.
Right.
Because then I'm like, why can't I run 10 miles? I just ran 10 miles the other day. You know, like I start that in my head, like what I'm being hard on myself because this is good. And I think these simple 4 agreements, I have them.
If you lived this, your life would be good.
Yeah, but it's
Oh,
a
it's good.
constant, it's a constant,
This is like golf.
yeah, bruh.
You're never going to master it.
You're never going to master it.
No.
Yeah.
No matter how good of a golfer you are,
You're never going to master it.
never going to be.
You're going to have some great days. You're going to have some great shots. You're going to have some great putts.
Yep.
But there's going to be days you shank it
Yep.
and days you miss an easy shot. And
Shank upon a miss.
Yeah.
I've had that a lot.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Well, you're not a golfer. No. Really.
I could.
So, yeah, it's like mastery
Yeah.
you're never going to master it. It's a constant process. And that's why I love this book because it really is so simple. Like
It's about this big.
yeah, it's a really small book I have them
an easy
printed.
read.
It's an easy read. I printed these out. I have them in my closet. I have them on my desk. Just the 4 agreements
It was
as a
up here.
reminder.
I think I got it from up here. It was in
It
here.
was right here. Thank you. So that's just constantly working on that. It's a process.
Life is a process.
I know.
To shine is a process.
The shine is a process.
The process.
Look at us. We're getting there. Next thing you know, we have curtains up here, colors.
Someday we're going to have color back there. We keep talking about it.
I know.
We'll get there.
We will.
So we've had lots of tech updates though. They've been really great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Good stuff.
Good.
That's all I got. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I mean, the biggest thing is like I said, I think we need to have these so you know them, and then apply them.
Yeah.
Like try, same thing. Like if you look at them and say, okay, how am I keeping my word?
Yeah.
You know what I mean, like what does that mean? Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
don't take things personally. Am I making assumptions?
And if you have
Do my
people in your circle that you communicate with, like your closest people that also kind of understand it, you can have these conversations,
Yeah.
with each other. Like, so if I'm freaking out over something, you could say like, are you taking that personally? Like, what are you assuming about that? Like we can it can start to be like a language that we can use with each other
can help.
as long as we all understand what the foundation is. But yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, so it can be supportive, it can be encouraging, it can be helpful to have a small group of people who really understand the language and understand the agreements and just
Set your
like
expectations.
accountability.
Yeah. Your expectations of these different things. I mean, like looking at what you know, what are you expecting out of your day? What are you expecting out of your life? Like, I think there's a big expectations and assumptions.
I think a practical guide to personal freedom. I think
Personal
that's
freedom,
personal
'Cause, I mean,
freedom.
it does. I tell you, it releases you when you don't care what somebody else thinks about you.
Yeah.
It's big.
All that negative energy or all that wondering.
Yeah, I envy that. Oh, well, just the comparison is the thief of joy. That's been like
Yes.
on repeat in my head
Yeah.
for like the past 5 years of my life.
Yep.
And I can't break it.
No,
Yeah.
you can't compare. You can't. I mean,
Comparison is the thief of joy.
it is like, but that's the whole thing. It's like that, and I mean, and letting somebody else have dominion over your thoughts. I mean, that's like dominion in your life. You know, like there's bad things happen. Somebody does something bad to you, right? Then you're gonna let them live in your brain
Yeah, that is hard,
for free.
but you got to let go. I know.
Yeah, let
It
go,
is
let-
living your brain for free. Yeah, we all do it.
Yeah, not very often.
You're
There's
good
not
at
much
it.
room in there.
Yeah, you got a lot going on in
Pretty
there. You don't have room for anybody else.
There's
I
times
can see
can't-
that.
There's times I can't sleep. There's a lot
I
going on
can
in there.
see that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. So it's like, but I mean, it's a great.
That
It's a
is
great book. If you
I
don't,
love
you haven't
it.
listened to it, get it.
Highly recommend. Four Agreements
Yep.
by Don Miguel Ruiz.
Buy it. Have a copy. I mean, honestly, listen to it. Have a copy. and
It's something you could
Yeah.
like read once a year, listen to once a year. Yeah, definitely.
It's almost like
so
The
good.
Alchemist. Good book.
I have not read that book. Isn't that crazy?
That's
That
my
might be
favorite
the
book.
only book
I know.
that you have read that I have not.
That's a yearly listen and a year. I love it.
I need to listen
I
to
wish I
it.
could make it a movie. I just don't know how I can make it a movie.
Okay.
I think maybe it has been, but
I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
I will put that on my list.
You got anything else, Devin?
Nothing.
Nothing. So next week we'll
We're announced. Yeah, we're figured out.
We'll figure out what day we'll be here, but it won't be Thursday because we'll be on a plane to the Bahamas.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, and this Bahamas trip is kind of a cool one because this was our first earned trip.
Yeah, with
In
Herbalife. Yeah, our first one. Yeah.
Yeah, the very first trip we earned was to Atlantis in the Bahamas with Herbalife.
Dante, who's 14 now, was.
Was 3 months old. Dante was 3 months old.
That
So
was right. I think that was right when.
it was 14 years ago we went.
I think it was when the Hangover.
The Hangover
So I
movie.
was-
The first Hangover movie was out.
I
So
was calling him Carlos.
we carried him around on a little thing, like a little papoose, and we called him Carlos for the week.
I got kicked out of the casino. I was in there walking. Well, because you walk through, it was like
Like the restaurants and stuff on the other side.
You'd
of the
walk
casino.
through the thing, and I'm like walking through one time. I got him on my it's a 3-month-old baby.
Strapped to you
Strapped
in a
to
little
my,
thing.
we're walking on, and because you hung out the boys a lot, and I carried him a lot.
I did the water slides. I did a lot of
She did
water
a lot, yeah,
slides.
'cause I would carry him in. So I'm in. I'm like, I'm gonna play some slots.
Yeah.
So I'm playing the slots. He's sitting there. He's laughing. We're the lights, ding, ding, ding.
He
we're
was
doing
only
this.
3 months old. He was little.
Yeah, a little baby.
That's crazy.
And so literally a guy comes up, sir, can't have a baby in here. I'm like, really? He ain't playing? He's like, you can't play with the
You
baby.
can't play
I'm like,
slots with the baby.
really? I guess, but the more you think about it, kind of as a degenerate thing to do.
Yes.
Like,
It
dude, you
was
can't, you got to bring your baby in the
Yeah.
play. So
Kicked out.
That
Kicked
was
out
my,
of the casino.
that was my, is he allowed to play now? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. I think you got to be 18.
18.
Dominic can play. Dominic can probably play some blackjack. He'll love that.
Dominic cost me $300 last time we played blackjack.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, we kept on getting 21. I know. You weren't getting 21. So. But. All right. So remember, the world needs your light to shine.
We need your light to shine, and you definitely need your light to shine. We'll see you next week on The Shine.
Take care.